And I also, even on my Facebook page, Fitness
Okay.
Logic for you, share some workouts there as well.
I want to stop you right there because believe it or not, and I want to apologize to our Facebook fans. First of all, this is live with Brother Mays, and let me just remind you, I am sitting here with certified fitness trainer Calvin Allen, someone that I have been a fan of for years. I can take it all the way back to high school. I can take it back to church if we want to. But we've been friends for many years, and he is currently right now a certified trainer, and he is part of this first series called Fitness during harsh times. And I really wanted to have him join my show because believe it or not, and you didn't know this, Calvin, I just found out those first 5 minutes we weren't recording. So I'm going to read. Yeah, I tell you what, man. For whatever reason, we weren't recording, but it's all good. We're recording now. It's all good. So as people join in, I'm going to ask you to recap a little bit on some of the things that you did mention, and that way we can move further. But real quickly, man, we just kind of recap a little bit. We talked about the science behind all this, and you did mention about home workouts. A lot of people right now are condensed to doing things like air squats, doing things like their sit-ups, their working plyometrics, anything like that. I've been doing bicycles, 2 miles, 3 miles a day, stationary bike, but I'm still gaining weight, man. And it's some of the food. It's some of the food that I've been eating. I understand that too, but it's also dealing with my medication. So I want to redirect a little bit for those that didn't get to hear Calvin's intro. Calvin, just kind of give you a little history of what I know about Calvin, and he's going to correct me if I'm wrong. Number one, we both grew up to church together, man. Other than being a fitness trainer, this young man got hands of gold. I mean, he can play the piano probably better than most piano people out there. And I always wanted to play with him, but just play into drums. But his brother Mikey would get in front of me, so it was one of those things. And moving forward, man. Now he hasn't told you everything. He was a star basketball player out of Drury University, and went on and played there for 4 seasons, man. And I used to catch those games when I come home from playing football at Baker University, man. And I tell you, man, Drury could have used you this year a little bit. But tell me how that transition, if you can. You came out of college. And you obviously, man, you grew a family. I got 3 girls. I got a son myself, so I understand about family. How did you transition into the physical fitness aspect of your career? Tell me about that.
So, fitness training is something that is a passion for me. It's something that I've done for a while, but it's something I only formally started doing probably about a year ago. I have a day job as well, but mainly it comes from this. What you said was that, right now during this COVID-19, you're getting on your stationary bike, but you're still gaining weight. And even outside of this COVID-19, as Americans, we're gaining weight. So if you look at the latest statistics, the average woman right now has a BMI of 29.6. All right. So BMI is something physicians use in order to measure, just kind of have an objective measure of where you are from a height and weight perspective. Well, 30 is where obesity starts, and that's clinical obesity. Okay. So if the average woman has a BMI of 29.6, that's almost obese. The average man is not far behind at 29.4. So we're talking about, a man average height in the U.S. is 5'9". That's 198 pounds. We don't even recognize really, we would just consider that to be overweight. We wouldn't consider that to be obese.
But does that, not to cut you off, but does that actually depend upon your height, genetics? I mean, how does that all play in there?
So BMI is an average measure. So for people who are extremely muscular, BMI is not a good measure. So it's not gonna, you can't cut everybody from the same cloth, but it does take into account your height and your weight. So people who are taller are expected to weigh more. And people who are shorter are expected to weigh less. The reason it's important is that when you hit a 30 BMI, that's clinical obesity. And the reason physicians are concerned about that is because that's when you can start developing health problems simply based upon what you weigh. And we're talking about things like high cholesterol, high blood pressure. We're talking about heart disease, the risk of heart attack, stroke. Those things go up when your BMI is over 30. And what I think is tough is that people a lot of times get motivated to make a change. And so they go to the gym, or they start being active while they're stuck at home, but they don't know the right things to do. And they get frustrated when maybe they've been working out consistently for a few weeks and they haven't really seen a change in the scale. Or, as you mentioned, maybe they're actually gaining weight in spite of the fact that they're working out. And so I wanted to be able to help people understand, because what you learned as a kid really isn't the truth. Because as a kid, we had this food pyramid, right? And we had grains at the bottom of it, and fruits and vegetables. And we had this mentality that says, move more, eat less. That is the key to being healthy. Well, shoot, you can go out and run a half marathon and not lose any weight and train for it and everything. That's a lot of miles you would run. But that doesn't really seem to make sense based upon what we were taught as a kid. And the science demonstrates, not only the science demonstrates that it doesn't work, but just what you see in society demonstrates that it doesn't work. But there is new data. There is hope.
Now, you mentioned about the data, and I understand that, and I'm looking forward to the 17th, because you mentioned that's when I'm gonna have some results to move forward. As I was going through your questionings, I noticed that when it came to measuring my waist, and there was the lady actually said this in the video, every time that you would go do a report, you want to measure everything, because sometimes we tend to look at our waist and say, okay, if my waist is not getting shorter, then I'm not doing well. But you talk about short-term successes. Kind of elaborate about that, please.
So here's the thing: is number one of the most important things that you can do in regard to losing weight is shrink the window of time in which you're eating. The science shows if you can shrink that window to 8 hours, even 10 hours, but my program, I coach people to 8 hours, you will lose weight and you will lose inches. And the short-term victories that you can see is that, number one, you will initially lose weight and you will lose inches. And that's without making major changes to your diet. So even if you just shrink the window of time in which you're eating and still eat the same things you're eating, you will lose weight, because it allows your body to burn the fat that is stored. The problem with the way most of us eat is you wake up in the morning, maybe you have breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning, then maybe there's a mid-morning snack, and then there's lunch, maybe a snack in the afternoon, especially now because we're all stuck at home. Then there's dinner and dessert. Well, we're eating all day, and our body takes, whenever we eat, our body takes those nutrients in, those calories, and it uses what we're putting in our body first, and then it stores the excess. Well, if we're continuing to feed ourselves all day long, then our body never has to start burning through that fat that is stored. So when you shrink the window of time, your body then, and part of that time you're sleeping, because I say, hey, consume all your calories between 12 and 8 p.m. While you're asleep, your body actually starts to get to burning fat, and then you skip breakfast the next morning and your body burns fat. The nice thing is you get adjusted to it within less than a week. And so you don't find yourself starving. People are afraid they're going to be starving if they skip breakfast. And what my program that I'm offering for free does is it walks people step by step through what exactly they can expect and how to get through that first week when maybe they're tempted to eat and they want to eat in the morning and they're afraid. But what they'll see within even a couple weeks is the scale start moving down, and those inches that you measure will reduce because you're shrinking the size of the fat cell. We cannot eliminate fat cells. However many fat cells you have right now, you will always have that many. All we can do is shrink the size of them.
Why is that? Because I'm diabetic, and I was talking with my doctor, and my doctor explained to me, my size, my frame. I'm 5'11". I'm hitting 250. I'm 251 right now. But he said, ideally, even if I was to get to 205, even if I was to get to 215 or whatever the case may be, I still may be carrying this mass just because. I mean, why is that the fat cells why do they stay there like that?
So, I mean, it's just the way we're made. The thing of it is that there is one place on our body where we can't actually increase the number of fat cells that we have, and that's the visceral fat, and that's the belly fat. The sad, unfortunate truth is the only way to get rid of those would be liposuction, or that type of procedure. So that's one of the reasons why when you see people get overweight, and maybe they lose some weight, part of the reason that if they slip up, that they can gain weight back more quickly is that they've actually added some fat cells when they were overweight, when they were obese. And so when they slip up, there are more places for those extra calories to be stored. And that's a tough life. That's a tough life. And I think that if people will try out time restricted eating, that's what the win advantage is. It's learning when to eat in order to be healthy, then they can lose weight, they can have success. And honestly, when you start to have success, it changes your life and it gives you a positive outlook, and the workouts. I mean, here's the thing about working out. A lot of times people try to go crazy with workouts and they want to go from doing nothing to like lifting as much weight as possible and working out 7 days a week. And they burn out. And so I like to start people slow. I mean, if you watch the videos, you know that I don't even ask people to work out the first week unless they're already working out, because I don't want too many things to complicate them changing their lives. You can make small changes that last and create big results. And I've seen it happen in people I've trained. I've seen it happen in people close to me in my life. And I've seen it happen for people overweight and people who society would not even deem to be overweight, but they felt like they needed to lose some weight, and they've been successful with it. And it's a long-term solution.
I want to come back a little bit. We talked about the win advantage, and the win advantage, we are sitting here now. We're in our house, our places, where we live. Time restriction has either went up or has went down based upon people's lifestyles and the way they've changed. When the economy starts back up, how does the win advantage change for people?
So it doesn't. And here's why. Eating within an 8-hour window is going to be effective for you for life. It's a lifestyle change. Okay. The nice thing is that you don't have to feel like you're missing out. A lot of the reason diets fail is people give up cheeseburgers or French fries or pizza or whatever it might be that they love, cheesecake. And that's just a temporary fix. And they stop losing weight. And then they're like, well, I'm going to go back to doing what I used to do before. And then the weight comes right back on. And so that's why you see people's weight go up and then it comes down and then it goes back up. And for most people, it goes up even higher than, they've gained back more weight than they actually lost in the first place. So it doesn't change. Right now is a great time to change your habits, because when you change your habits,
Okay.
you change your life. And when you go back to work, you're not going to get hungry at your desk in the morning. You're not, because your body is not going to send you that hunger signal. And that's the biggest thing people have to understand, is that we get hungry based upon when we normally eat. We don't get hungry based upon when we need to eat, but based upon when we normally eat. And one of the easiest examples you can think about is kids in elementary school when they have differing lunch periods. Like my kids in elementary
lunch periods, yes. That was one of my questions, yeah. Yeah, it was one of my questions, not to cut you off, B. You gave a great example. You gave a great example in your video, and you were talking about when your son had a lunch period, I believe it was 10:30 at one point, and then he switched to another lunch period, and it was at 1 o'clock, and you were like, well, wait a minute, he's either hungry or he's not. I mean, I can actually resonate to that, because I remember in a job that I was working, a position years ago, if I didn't take lunch by 11 o'clock, I was not going to take lunch. But then when I did finally take lunch in another position, same job, just different position, man, I was around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Man, things changed. And I think my weight fluctuated about 15 pounds difference at the time. So you talk about that type of example. Elaborate a little bit, because you mentioned earlier about skipping breakfast. A lot of us like our breakfast. So if I eat a healthy breakfast, I mean, I like to have my iron and my fiber and everything in the morning. Can this work if you change your time from, say, 8 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon? I mean, does this work if you change that time frame? I mean, kind of elaborate on that.
So without a doubt, it does. So you could do a window that's like 9 to 5. Okay. You could, and that would be completely fine. What's important is shrinking the window of time to 8 hours. And that's what the science shows is most effective. So let me just real quick, before I get into that example, tell you a little bit about the science. So there was a study.
No, go ahead.
This study involved obese adults, and it was a 12-week study. Group A just ate normally. Okay. They ate breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever they wanted to do. They had to be weight stable coming into the study. Group B actually could only consume their calories within an 8-hour window each day. And at the end of 12 weeks, this is what they found. Group B didn't change their diet whatsoever. They still ate the same things. Group B lost 3% of their body weight in 12 weeks. And all they did was eat within an 8-hour window each day. Group A didn't lose any weight. They still ate the same exact way. Group B still ate their cheeseburgers, whatever it was that they were eating before, and they lost 3%. So you think if you weigh 200 pounds, that's 6 pounds that you lose in 12 weeks by doing nothing, not missing out on what you like to eat, just changing when you eat it. There's a lady who wrote a book, she's a dietitian, and her book is Delay. She talks about delay, don't deny. Delay what you want. Don't deny yourself what you want.
Delay, don't deny.
Yeah, because, and that's the thing, is like, if you love breakfast, the word breakfast, break fast. It doesn't have, you can eat breakfast anytime you want to. You can have, if you're eating between 12 and 8, because that seems to be easiest for people because it fits with their family life, because they're eating at home after 5 or 6 in the evening. You can have whatever that is. You want scrambled eggs and toast at 12, you can have it then. But what people will find is that you actually have more energy in the morning when you do time restricted eating. You have more energy throughout the day because your body adapts very quickly. And when you think about the example about lunch periods changing, when lunch changes for kids and for adults, the body very quickly adjusts and says, okay, we don't get fed at 10 o'clock in the morning. So even though I might send that hunger signal, we've all had a situation where like you've been busy and had to work through lunch, right? And it's like, man, I'm supposed to eat lunch at 12, but I'm in a meeting or I got this going with my kids or whatever. You don't sit there and
Yeah.
starve if you're busy doing
Yes.
something else.
Yeah.
You might get hungry at
Yeah.
11:45, but it goes away. Well, if you move that eating window and say you start eating at 1 o'clock when you used to eat at 11, your body stops sending you a hunger signal at 11. It starts sending you a hunger signal at 1 o'clock. And that's the
Yeah.
toughest thing for people to understand. And when you do that, now, if you're just still eating your normal diet and you eat 3 to 4 times a day or whatever, it's not going to cause you to gain or lose weight typically when you change that when you eat. But when you change the number of hours in which you're consuming calories during the day, like there's a girl
Right.
that's featured on my testimonials page at fitnesslogicforyou.com. She lost 50 pounds in a year, 50 in a year.
I read that. Yes. Okay. So in this time frame, in this time frame that you're talking about.
Hmm.
Let's see here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So in this time frame that you're talking about, like let's say for instance, a person makes a goal usually 3 months. Okay. Basically that's what 12 weeks. All right. They make a goal and they say, realistically, I'm trying to get ready for the summer. Well, the summer right now is looking more towards fall because of all of our restrictions. What kind of goals should be realistic for someone who is obese and they're saying, hey, I just want to lose maybe 10 to 15 pounds over the next, say, 6 months?
So that's very realistic that they could lose 10 to 15 pounds over 6 months without having to do crazy things, literally by just changing the window of time in which they're eating. But here's what I'd say to you is you may have noticed this on my form and maybe you didn't. I ask you what you weigh, I ask you for your inches, you right? I don't ask you how many pounds you want to lose. I don't know if you noticed that. And there's a reason.
No, you know what? I didn't. I didn't, and I was surprised, but I didn't really think about that till you just said it. Yeah.
See, Marlon, we have to switch our mindset in regard to being healthy and weight loss. See, we have got into this mindset of I want to lose 10 pounds or 15 pounds or 20 pounds for X event. Okay. So you brought up summer. It's a great example. I know I'm going to be going to Florida, so I want to look my best in my bikini or in my swim trunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I need to drop 20 pounds in the next, and people got like a countdown clock, and they're like, I got to drop 20 pounds in the next 6 weeks. Okay. So here's what happens. All right. They do some extreme things, and a lot of times they may drop that 15 or 20 pounds in that 6 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because their goal is to lose 10 or 15 pounds in 6 weeks. That's the wrong goal. Because, see, you accomplish that, but then the weight comes back on. Your goal instead should be to be healthy and to get to a healthy weight and not think I need to lose 10 or 15 pounds by a certain date for a certain event, but be healthy and be at the weight you want to be at for your whole life. And if it takes you 3 weeks to lose 10 pounds, okay. If it takes you 30 weeks to lose 10 pounds. But for most people that want to lose 10 to 15 pounds that I coach and that I train, I don't let them have a number. They don't know where they're going to stop losing weight. So a lot of times 10 to 15 pounds turns into 30 or 40 pounds that they end up losing, not in 6 weeks, not in 6 months, but in a year. And when you look at Amanda, who's on my testimonials page, Amanda just started losing weight and kept losing weight because she was consistent. And that's the biggest thing that will allow you to be successful. And we understand this in other facets of our life. We have our kids do homework consistently so that they will achieve. We don't say, hey, you only have to do homework for the next 3 weeks. And then if you do homework for the next 3 weeks, you're good. No, the school year lasts 9 months.
I need you to back that up and talk to my daughter right now because she's looking at me crazy. She's like, Daddy, I'm about to graduate. I shouldn't have to do. I said, but you're going to college in about another couple of months. So we got to keep this going. Not to cut you off here, but I want to, because it's dealing with right now. Kind of go back to the COVID-19 thing. Respiratory. This is a respiratory disease. And so, great example. I was in a gym a few weeks ago, and I had a guy who was in the treadmill right next to me, and he says, "What do you think about all this that's going on?" And I said, "Well, to my understanding, if your cardio was good, man, you good." That was my mentality.
Yeah.
But we're finding out science and data is telling us that you could be in the best shape possible.
Yeah.
How do you coach someone past that? Because there's a lot of people right now, their anxiety level is here because they're like, well, wait a minute, I'm in shape. But then I know somebody else is in shape and they're getting sick. How does that play in, or has that question have come to you already, or no, or kind of elaborate?
So here's the thing: stress and anxiety will wreak havoc on your body, especially chronic stress and anxiety. Because what stress does is we have a stress hormone. It's called cortisol. Okay, and cortisol is the fight or flight hormone. Where it's supposed to be used, for the most part, is when you get in that situation where it's like you feel like it's life or death, and it's like I either got to run my way out of this situation or I got to fight my way out of this situation. Cortisol releases extra energy called glucose into your bloodstream so that you can do one of the two. You're like, all right, I'm gonna have to knock somebody out and then I can leave, or I got to run away so I don't get knocked out. Whatever the case may be. In situations of chronic stress like this, cortisol levels go up and they stay up. So that means we got extra glucose in our blood, and that glucose ends up getting stored as fat. So I talk to my clients about stress and managing stress because here's the thing. I could give you the best workouts and the best time restricted eating coaching that I could give you. I could even coach you on 24-hour fasting and longer. But if you're stressed out, unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult to lose weight. And so, it's all about controlling the controllables. And I know you are a man of faith. And, we have to lay it at the altar, or we have to meditate, or we have to sometimes put away Facebook and turn off the news. And we have to find other things. And for everybody, it's different. But, a couple of things you can do in order to make life easier. And this is even outside of COVID-19 when it comes to stress. But I say, look, take time for yourself every day and do something that is just for you, that makes you feel good. Doesn't have to take a lot of time, but just something you can do for you to put yourself in a good space. If it's reading, for me, it's playing the piano. For others, it might be listening to music. And then the other thing is do something nice for somebody else. Because when you put a smile on somebody else's face, it warms you from inside and you can't help but the smile come to your face. And
Amen.
That is how you can get through this COVID-19. We got a lot of people who need help right now, who need encouragement.
Yeah.
And when you encourage others, you end up encouraging yourself. Because we're going to get through this. We know we're going to get through this. It's a virus that some of us have a extremely negative reaction to. And you're right. It does not seem to only prey on those who are weak or have weakened immune systems or are out of shape. It does not, but it doesn't mean that we can't still live every day to its fullest and still trust and believe and pray or meditate or whatever it is for different people, right? In order to get through it. And if you do that, because the reality is we can't control it. We can't control when we get to return to society or return to work. And if you do that, you can lose some weight, get in better shape. and you can feel good about yourself the whole time.
Well, I want to as we start closing this interview, and I thank you again, man, for you guys that are just joining in and you're listening live with me right now. I have here Calvin Allen, certified personal trainer, owner, operator of Fitness Logic for you, and we'll get that out there for you. If you look back at the post, I'll be posting some information more on this. But I kind of want to get in this from a personal experience. I have taken the leap of trying this out myself. When he said 6 weeks for free, I was like, wait a minute, 6 weeks for free? I don't know too many people that do that, but I kind of understand because people want to see some results before they make a commitment, and that makes a lot of sense. But I would like for you, if you could, just kind of walk us through, if you don't mind, walk us through the first 2 weeks of what you are doing for people. I mean, behind the scenes, because you mentioned about science, you mentioned about data, because in speaking of data, I looked this up. Dr. Janelle Pittman, she mentioned that there's more to exercise and the ability to complete exercise because science has said we were wrong. I didn't understand what that meant until I kept reading, but she said because we were wrong. Have we gotten to the point that now our lives have changed that we have to invent how we exercise? If that makes any sense?
To an extent.
And if you can tag on that at the end of, if you can tag on that towards the end of the first 2 weeks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I definitely can. So the first 2 weeks, the first week is me teaching you everything about time restricted eating and why eating within an 8-hour window will help you lose weight, why you won't be low on energy and you actually have higher amounts of energy, why you won't actually be hungry when you skip breakfast, and then strategies to get through that first week whenever we make a change. It's gonna be a little difficult. So strategies to distract yourself when that hunger wave comes, because the reality is it will go away. But that is what we do in the very first week. And in that first week, I just want you to work on trying to consume your calories within 8 hours. I don't care what you're eating. You don't have to change anything within that time period. Then the second week is when I talk to you about strength training and why strength training is important. Because we do have to re-examine what we do. This whole thought that, well, I can go out and if I run for an hour, I will lose weight, or if I walk for an hour, I will lose weight, is wrong. Wait, I don't work out for more than half an hour. I commit to four workouts per week minimum for half an hour. And that's all I do. And the way I stay fit with that is we have to try and really challenge our bodies when we're ready for it. Now, somebody brand new starting out is not ready for that. But there are times when 5 minutes into my workout, I'm ready to quit because I am so exhausted 5 minutes in. And there are simple things you can do to exhaust the muscles and to increase your cardiovascular endurance that do not require you to work out for a long period of time. And so that second week, I talk about that and why I focus on strength training. It's not that I want people not to continue to do cardio, because I do. I think walking is very healthy, jogging, dancing, very healthy, and I want people to do those things. But from a weight loss perspective, strength training is going to give you bigger bang for your buck. And then after that, we do talk about, I get into stress. I get into why diets, the traditional diets that you've tried where you cut out carbs or reduce your calories, have failed for most people in the past, and the biggest thing is that I ask people to try it out for free for 6 weeks for a couple reasons. One, you're right. People do want to see results. And these are mainly videos, and people have access to send me messages if they have questions. And I have a private group where we can interact in the private Facebook community if people so choose. But it's to get them off to a good start. Even within those 6 weeks, if they follow the instructions that I provide, they will lose weight. And if they continue to do it, they will continue to lose weight. Now, there are people that want personal training, and that is what I charge money for. People who want to work one-on-one and want individualized workouts, and they want me to help them with meal planning, and they maybe need more accountability and more touch points. I offer personal training for those people, at a rate of $75 per hour. But what I can do in 90 days, what I can do in 90 days is in 90 days, I can teach people how to lose weight without counting calories. I can teach them how to get workouts in that give them more time to spend with the people they love to spend time with. And I don't know if that's their best friend or the girlfriend or the boyfriend or their kids or all of the above, their spouse, etc. And they can be set up for success. And that's the most important thing. And so if after that 6 weeks, people want more, then they can sign up for personal training. But that 6 weeks is something that can offer people, as far as I'm concerned, the best information that there is available out there. Because if there's anything I am, it is a science nerd. And I research and read everything. And there are lots of ways to help people lose weight. And honestly, I probably know about all of them because I've read about every single one of them. And the reason I chose time-restricted eating to teach the masses, to teach everyone, is because it is hands down the easiest way for people to lose weight. And if people are losing weight, they start feeling better about themselves. And when they feel better about themselves, they're more likely to work out. And when they start seeing strength gains and the scale going down, they feel like they can conquer the world.
Man, I tell you, Calvin, you have really opened up my eyes to some things, because I spent most of my athletic career in football and track, and of course I should say my college athletic career was in football and track. And when I left that and went into coaching and all the above, you get to a point where you say, well, I already know it all. I don't need to do this or do that. But I've also noticed that in the realm of coaching and in the realm of being in that arena, you can be on this side of the good shape, or you can be on this side of the good shape. And I literally mentally have learned some stuff that has really said, okay, Marlon, I think you need to rethink this. And that's one thing that I've learned from going through your site. And I'm looking forward to moving forward in the weeks to come. Before we go, could you just give us some type of I wouldn't say motivation, but give us something to think about that most people don't necessarily think about, but it's useful, if that makes sense. Something that they can take with them from this interview tonight.
So, I think that the biggest thing is this. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And when it comes to weight loss and fitness, if that has been your experience, I would say it's time to try something different. And I think, actually, I know people will be happy with the results that they get. And right now, with a free program, when we are all concerned about money, let's just be honest, we are all, I feel blessed to still be employed in my job, but we're all stressed about money. Something that is free, that doesn't involve financial risk, but actually involves a physical reward, is something to consider doing. And I can guarantee that you'll learn something. The third week of this program is why diets don't work. You're going to realize why cutting your calories in half actually makes it harder to lose weight than anything ever. And that seems counterintuitive as all get out. But when you go from a 3,000 calorie a day diet down to 1,500 and you lose a few pounds and then you plateau, you'll completely understand
Yeah.
why that was the wrong thing to do. But it's what you thought was the right thing to do. So I don't blame people. But
Right.
I encourage people to try it out. There are always going to be people who need help, and I am here to help.
Mhm.
And I certainly hope that people do try it out, and I hope people improve their lives with it. And they can always reach out to me. As you've seen, you can reach out via email. You can personal message me on Instant Messenger when you're in
Yes.
the program. There's nothing I love more than seeing people have success.
I like the fact that when I go to the website, it's so much like if I was going to a tech site and I see the chat room over there, and immediately it says, "How can I help you?" And I'm sitting
Yeah.
there like, he's sitting there, he's waiting for me to send him something. I'm like, okay, I get it. But it's but you know something, I had this talk with a co-host of mine the other day, part of the PM show, and that brings me to say this too, man. I really appreciate you coming on tonight, to where I really want to bring you back, not just for a series that I'm doing on fitness, but also on the PM show, because I think where we're going with especially after this COVID scare, there's going to be many people redirecting what they eat, how they exercise, lifestyle changes, all for the better. And especially, and we didn't really touch on this because there's been a lot of stuff in the news about the black community. And of course, you being a black male, myself being a black male, man, I mean, there's so many things that we're susceptible to, just because of trending of eating, things that we may have eaten in the past, things we grew up on. Soul food right now, as good as it tastes, man, is not always the best thing during these type of times, and especially when your health is on the line. And so these are things that I definitely would like to touch a little bit more on, at a later date as well, because I want you to just kind of give people, I got up here on the screen, you may not be able to see it, fitnesslogicforyou.com, and correct me if I'm wrong, is where you can find him. This is Calvin Allen, certified fitness trainer. And he also, if you can, is there a number that you would like people to reach you on, or other than even outside of, or email address? I mean, you just go ahead and give your closing, tell people where they can find you.
Sure. So first off, Marlon, I appreciate you having me on your show this evening. It's been a pleasure to connect with an old friend back from Silver Springs Church of God.
Yes.
And we got family in common.
Hey.
And I'm so
Oh man, yes.
so happy to see you doing well, my brother. And I remember back in those days, you playing football in
Man.
high school
Same to you,
and
man.
in college, and staying well. And man, the best way to reach me, honestly, is either through my website, which is, you probably have, I can't see it, Fitness Logic,
Okay.
the number 4, the letter U.com. And that window does pop up. And
Yes.
I am the one who is actually answering when it says, "Hi, how may I help you?" It's me that's going to answer your question on the other end. The other thing,
Yes,
you
yes.
can connect to my Fitness Logic for You Facebook page. Those are the best ways. And here's the thing: is
Okay.
this COVID-19 has a lot of people doing things remotely. I have always done things remotely and virtual in regard to personal training, because again, it gives people more time with their family. And not only does it give them more time with their family on a daily and weekly basis, but getting healthy will give you more time in life. And that equals more time with your family, because all of us are trying to live as long and as healthy lives as we can. And if I can help people do that and help people feel good about themselves and move forward, that's something I definitely want to do. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk. And I would welcome another chance to chat with you as well.
Hey man, with all that being said, I just want to say to all the people that has been committed tonight to staying on with us. We did have a couple of difficulties with technology, of course, getting started tonight. But hey, man, it finished out great. Everything, as I always believe in Ecclesiastes 3, it says there's a due season for everything. It's a time and place for everything, and this was the right time and the right place. So as we close out tonight, guys, I just want to just give my final thoughts and just going to say goodbye to my brother here and just tell you that, you have to take some time to really focus on you. If there's one takeaway I can take from tonight, guys, is that you have to take time for yourself and really negotiate what's best for you, whether it's losing weight, whether it's just being more toned, whether it's just coming to the point and saying, how do I balance my life? So going forward, whether it's you need a personal trainer or you don't, take what you heard tonight from Calvin himself, Mr. Allen, I should say, and really take it in. And I know I am. I'm going to visit his website a little bit more because I'm already embedded. I said I was going to ride this out because I'm at 251 and I want to get down to about 215 eventually and see what I look like again at that weight. And so if I can do it, you can do it. Hey, as we shut off tonight, I just want to say thank you to our special guest. And again, you are live with Brother Mays every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And hey, I'm your brother from another. Peace. Love you guys. All right, Cal. Stream is done. We got 45 minutes in, man. Hey, I thank you. And this should be up on the site. I have your information there too.
Cool.
I'm going to, when I go back into the notes, I'm going to repost your information. And I'm probably going to go ahead and download this and put it on my YouTube page and do some snippets of what's the best stuff and put it on IG as well. So I'll keep you in touch as far as what's what. And if there's anything you want to use from this, at a later time, let me know, and we can go from there. Okay.
Hey, I appreciate it. I will. It's public, so I can share your Facebook Live to my. I think I can probably share it to my page, right? Yeah, I'll share it to my personal page.
You should be able to share it. Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Marlon. I really do, man. And stuff. And,
hey,
and
not
honestly,
a problem. Hey, well, you're my.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's that?
No, I
didn't hear you. Go ahead.
Man, if anything in regard to fitness and weight loss, man, please reach out because I am not kidding. Like that's what I enjoy doing, man. And I will walk you through anything I need to walk you through.
Well,
we'll get you back to your sprinting shape.
Yeah. I don't know about my sprinting shape, but I definitely want to go back to Florida and get on the beaches and feel good again. But no, I appreciate it, man. But I've already, hey man, I've already prayed about it, man, and I'm going to walk this walk. And hey man, they say every good man in this industry should have a good personal trainer. I'm signing you up, man. You're gonna be my man. So
man.
I will get back with you. I'll get back with you, and I look forward to the information you got from me too. So hey, man, you and your family, man, y'all stay safe, and we'll talk soon. Okay?
All right, sounds good. You too, Marlon.
All right, talk to you later, buddy.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.